guys, I am Arlette Hardy, blogger and joy strategist at Chasing Joy. That's chasing-joy.com. And I am back on YouTube today with another baby making update on my journey to becoming a single mother by choice. So I left you guys off last week, or in the last video. I was just talking about progesterone and what happened with me right after my last frozen embryo transfer that was unsuccessful, and I ended up having a bad reaction to the progesterone. That was awful. So I shared that and what I'll be doing different on the next transfer in terms of progesterone. But other than that, I don't really have a true update for you guys today. I'm still waiting to share the ERA test results, and then my plans for the next transfer and everything. So while waiting on that, and I'm gearing up for doing my Zika blood work, because as you guys know, I took a little break and went to Cuba, and so now I have to make sure I don't have Zika before I can try again. So not a whole lot going on, so I thought this would be a fun time for me to do a trying to conceive tag. So I looked up some, and I didn't really find anything that were related, or I would say targeting single mothers by choice like myself. So what I did was I took the couple tags that I did find, and I slightly modified the questions and added a couple of my own to make it a single mother by choice trying to conceive tag. So basically I took out the questions about the spouse and added some that were related to being a single mom by choice. So I'm just going to go through these questions. I hope you guys enjoy. I think it'll be interesting, you know, down the line when I am successfully pregnant and have a child, to look back and see my thoughts on during this trying to conceive process. So, and even though this tag I targeted towards single mother by choice, anyone is welcome to do it. Just, you know, adapt the questions for your scenario. And so I did, you know, obviously I looked at the questions because I had to kind of modify, but I didn't really think through my answers. So I'm going to be, these will be my authentic answers right now. So question number one, what is my name? So my name is Arlette Hardy, which you guys already know that. How old are you is question number two. I am 37. I just turned 37 in March. Number three, when did you know you wanted to become a mom, and when did you decide to do it on your own? So I have always known I wanted to be a mom. I've always had a very, very strong maternal instinct. I played with dolls until I was probably about 12. And even then I only kind of stopped playing with my dolls because I guess peer pressure, other girls were, you know, being more mature and whatnot. So I put them away. But I've always imagined myself being a mom. I actually always imagined myself being a wife and a mother. So yeah, I can't even think of any single point in my life where I didn't think I was going to be a mom. So and when did I decide to do it on my own? So I started blogging in, I think, the beginning of 2010. And around that time I happened to stumble across the single mother by choice community blog, and that was when, like, I knew some women got pregnant on their own, and I knew that sperm banks existed, but I never really considered doing that myself until I happened to stumble across that blog back in 2010. And I had shared, you know, told my mom about it. So I was aware that there were a lot of women making this decision since then, but at the time I was dating someone, but then and that person I was dating, I thought I was going to marry and thought we would have kids together and all that, but it ended up not working out. So not long after I discovered the Single Mother by Choice blog, that relationship fell, and I talked to my mom about, well, you know, at that point I was 30, and I said, well, you know, this relationship didn't work out. At what point, how old should I be before I just do it on my own if I don't meet anyone, you know, in the next couple of years or get serious with someone to get married? And my mom, it was funny, she said 37. So I'm 37 now, which is kind of amusing to me. Question number 4 is, how long have you been trying to conceive? So I didn't wait till I was 37 to start trying. I started trying right after my 35th birthday, and like I actually made the decision to move forward about 3 months prior when I was still 34. I went off of birth control, made an appointment with a gynecologist who referred me to my fertility clinic and all that, and I decided to start trying then because my mom had been diagnosed with cancer at that time. She's since passed away, but it just really made me realize that life is short, and I did want to share as much of that experience with her as I could, but then also for myself. Like, I've always known my whole life I wanted to be a mom. Like, why am I putting this off even longer? Especially considering women's fertility, they say it goes down around 35. So I decided to start trying when I was 35. So I've officially been trying. My first IUI was March of 2015, and today is Friday, June 30th, 2017. So I've officially been trying to conceive for 27 months. Not every month that I try, because I am doing this solo. Some I have had IUIs using donor sperm, and most recently I've been doing IVF. So it's not like every month I tried, but it's been over 2 years since I officially started trying. Number 5, how long will you try before you take a break or give up? So I've taken a break a couple of times in the last 2 years. One, to lose weight, to start the IVF, and then just recently these few weeks off because I went to Cuba and waiting for Zika. In terms of giving up, I don't know. I honestly don't imagine myself giving up until I have the child, because I've wanted to be a mom for so long. But in terms of short term, I still have 3 embryos on ice that are all rated AA, and I think 1 is AB. I did not do the genetic testing, but prayerfully at least one of those is genetically normal. So I will at least try through those embryos. Now, when I was losing weight for IVF, part of my incentive was I wanted to do the shared risk program that they had available. And with that program, you can do up to 6 IVFs and transfers, or stop, if at some point you don't want to do it anymore. And then if you don't bring a baby home, so not just get pregnant, but actually bring a baby home, you get your money back. So I technically still have 5 IVF tries. So God willing, please do not allow me to have to use those tries. I'm praying I don't even have to use a second IVF, but I can't say for 100% sure that I would do 5 more IVFs. But if these 3 don't work, I'm already planning what I would do different for a second IVF. So no plans in the foreseeable future of giving up. Does everyone in in your family or friends circle know you're trying to conceive? Yes, I think everyone in my real life, immediate family and friends know I'm trying to conceive. Plus everyone on my blog and on my social media, because I have been a blogger for so many years, it felt inauthentic to not include this big part of my life in my blogging journey. So I share all my trying to conceive updates on Fridays on the blog, because my journey to becoming a mom is part of what I consider a happy, joyful life for me. So I'm sharing some of the things that I'm doing to be happy, which include motherhood, on my blog. So most people who know me in some way, shape, or form know what I'm doing. The only people who maybe don't know are like coworkers who I've purposefully blocked on social media. But I think some of them even know. But everyone in my circles definitely know. Okay. Number 7, was everyone supportive of your decision to become a single mother by choice? My mom was the only opinion that I was truly concerned about, and she was on board from day one. So yes, and they were supportive. My friends have been very supportive. My brother had some concerns, and we talked, he expressed those, And I feel like he still probably has some concerns, but I know they're from a good place. But he's never expressed anything negative, so I consider that to still be supportive. You know, everyone doesn't have to agree with your decision, but they don't really, you know, they don't have to express any negativity. I've only had one person, and it was one friendship that I now consider to be over, respond really negatively to it when and the thing is, I had known this person my whole life, but we had not been close for a while. So she actually found out through my social media, where I was sharing blog posts, including my videos here, and she called me and tried to convince me to not do it. And then she actually went so far as to say that my future child, that I would have to apologize to my future child for having had them, since they didn't have a father. And I think she was just expressing a lot of her daddy issues. And I tried to explain to her that, you know, me choosing to have a child on my own, because I have so much love to give, and that's why I chose a sperm donor, is not the same as if someone got pregnant with a partner and then the partner rejected the child. Okay, in both scenarios, there's not a dad involved, but there's no rejection with my child. Now, I can't say I know how my child will feel. I hope they feel loved and wanted, and I'm sure they might be curious, and I'll handle all that when the time comes. But I for her to say I would have to apologize to my child, I feel was just kind of like crossing the line, and she was just very harsh. And by the end of the call, I was in tears. So kind of ended that friendship, because of how I felt. But also, like, eventually I will be pregnant, I will have a child in my life, and I can't really allow them to be exposed to someone who thinks that way, because they could have an impact on how my child views their situation. So yeah, so only one person really was not supportive, and they're gone. Gotta get rid of those joy thieves, guys. So had to cut her off. Number 8, what are some crazy things you do while trying to conceive? I don't really think I do too much crazy. Probably the craziest thing that I do is this YouTube channel, and like share so much information with people. But I do that because when I was looking into this, you know, decision and researching it, the only YouTuber that I could find was Boston Girl. I think some of you might follow her. Is where she shared her trying to conceive journey, and that was the only black woman that I found. So it made me feel like, you know what, let me share my journey, because someone else may be researching this and wanting to see someone who looks like them. There might be another black woman down the line, and I want, you know, to share my experience as well. So that's pretty crazy. Other than that, the only other crazy thing that I did was one time, and I don't recall which IUI cycle it was, I bought the wrong type of pregnancy test. I bought the rapid response, which basically that just means it tells you if it's positive or negative within a minute, but that doesn't mean it's early detection. And so I should have been buying the first response early results, but I bought rapid results. So when I realized that, the next morning when I woke up for work, I got ready super quick, washed up and everything, and I did not use the bathroom. And you know how hard that is when you wake up. That's usually the first thing you have to do is pee. I did not pee. I held it and like went through my morning routine super fast, and instead of going to work, I went to the drugstore, I think it was a Rite Aid, and bought the proper early results pregnancy test. And then I took the test in the restroom at work. So I held my pee for about, I work pretty close to my house, like 10 minutes away. So I held my pee for probably close to an hour or a little over, just so that I could have first morning's urine with the proper test. So that was pretty crazy. I only did that once. All right. Number 9. What number child will this be for you? This will be my first child. Number 10. How many kids do you want to have? At this point, considering how challenging this process has been, I will be very, very grateful and thankful for one child. In a perfect world, I would like at least 2. So if this next transfer works for me, I'll be having a baby when I'm like 38. Maybe when I'm 39, I could try for a second. I don't know. Then depending on how many embryos I have left and all that. But in the financial situation, especially paying for daycare on one with just one income. So, but I'll be very, very blessed to have one child. And in a perfect world, I would have at least another. Have you been diagnosed with any kind of infertility? No, I've only been diagnosed with unexplained infertility and I guess luteal phase defect, because I do have to take progesterone. But other than that, no endometriosis, no PCOS, no fibroids. My uterus, they always say, looks beautiful, so nothing. What medical issues, if any, do I have that might affect trying to conceive? Well, I'm overweight, so that could be a factor. Other than that, I do have been borderline pre-diabetic, and having excess glucose in your system can affect conception. And during this process, I also discovered that my thyroid, while it's in the normal range for a grown woman, it's not optimal for pregnancy. So that leads me to number 13. Are you on any medications to treat or treatments for infertility? So I am taking Synthroid for the thyroid issue, and I take metformin to help decrease the glucose in my system. And in addition to that, just the IVF medications. And then I always have to do progesterone, and with the frozen embryo transfers, it's injection. And as you saw hopefully in the last video, I'm doing it the progesterone in ethyl oleate as opposed to in oil. Alright, number 14, do you use OPKs? If yes, how many do you keep in stock? I used OPKs when I was doing IUIs, and I would only keep enough in stock for 1 or 2 cycles, because they would come with, I forget how many would come in the box, but that would typically last me 2 cycles. So that's all that I would keep in stock. I would try not to stock up on those because those were expensive. And I was using the, I think it's called Clear Blue, with the smiley face, the one where just no smiley face or smiley face, not the one that gives you the blinking smiley face. So sorry, I don't remember the name. Number 15, what day do you usually ovulate? I haven't tracked my ovulation for probably 6 months because I've started IVF. But prior to that, I would typically ovulate between days 10 and 12. So I had a lot of IUIs on day 12. One time I ovulated as early as day 8, and they said that was too early. But usually it was between days 10 and 12. Are you crazy about taking pregnancy tests? Okay, so crazy is subjective. I don't think that I'm crazy. I think some of you who've been watching my channel probably think that I'm crazy because I take so many. I do take a lot. I don't like to wait. I don't like not knowing, and I guess with so many negatives, I don't want the first time that I realize it didn't work to be when they call me. For a couple reasons. I think one, I don't like crying in front of people, so I would not want to start crying on the phone, or if they happen to call me while I'm at work. Like, I kind of already want to like have braced myself for if it didn't work, and if it did work, I want to be excited sooner. So I don't think it's crazy, but I do take a lot. So I am going to try to take less. So the next question, 17, how many home pregnancy tests do you take in one cycle? So I could easily take like 20 tests in a cycle, but I get most of them from the dollar store. So I've taken some where I've tested out the trigger shot. I've taken some, I would usually start like with the IVF, like I started early as 5 days post-transfer. And sometimes I'm taking more than 1 test per day. And with the IUIs, I would start testing around 9 days post-ovulation. And again, sometimes I would take more than 1 test a day. So I've taken a lot. How many tests do I really have in the cabinet? I have 0 tests in my cabinet right now because I used every last one on my last transfer that was a negative. So this next time I'm going to try to not test as much. So I'm going to try to not buy any until I'm ready to start testing. How many times a day do I test? Like I said, sometimes I've tested multiple times in a day, at least twice. And I discovered in doing that from the time when I was pregnant, even though I miscarried, my first morning urine was usually lighter than the urine later. I'm sorry, the test line was usually lighter from the first morning urine than it was from a test later in the day. So that's opposite of most people. What's the earliest DPO that I started testing? I think I answered that already. I think 8 days post ovulation was probably the earliest, and 5 days post 5-day transfer with the IVF. What keeps me busy during the 2-week wait? I try to just stay busy with work and with my Chasing Joy business. I've had cycles where I had an event during the 2-week wait, which helped. But really nothing takes your mind off of it. So, good luck with that. What stress relievers do I use when trying to conceive? Like, I try to watch TV and things that laugh, and try to maybe go out with friends. But honestly, nothing helps. So if you guys have secret tips on what makes your 2-week wait not be terrible, let me know, because I don't know. Number 23, what gender am I hoping for? I will be happy with a boy or a girl, depending on the mood. I can kind of imagine it either way. For those of you who've been following for a while, you know that I would do acupuncture, and I would do visualization while I was doing acupuncture. And my most successful visualization experience, I envisioned a boy. But I'd be happy with either. I think there could be fun aspects and not so fun aspects to both. So whatever God gives me, I'm cool with. And if in the future, if I end up doing the genetic testing on embryos, if I do have to do another IVF, I'm not gonna have them tell me the gender, because just let God determine whichever embryo they put in, if it's a boy or a girl. How many pregnancy books do I have? I only have one, the What to Expect book, and I started reading that when I was pregnant before, and my plan was to only read up to where I was in a pregnancy. So I ended up having a miscarriage, so I was only really pregnant for a couple of weeks, so didn't get too far in that. So I'm very much looking forward to when I can actually be reading that book while I'm pregnant. And I guess I have another one my cousin gave me. I think I showed it on a previous video around the holidays. My cousin gave me a really nice pregnancy journal to track things in, so I'm excited and looking forward to using that in the future as well. Number 25, what themes or designs do I like for a nursery? I have like an older house, and I don't want to do too much remodeling and redesign, because I'm hoping to sell this house in a couple of years. So the room that the kid will be in is kind of like a beige and purple, and I'm hoping to get rid of the purple accents and maybe bring in like orange, because I think that's nice for a boy or a girl. But I really haven't decided on that. Number 26, do I plan to do pregnancy vlogs when I conceive? Absolutely. I wouldn't just leave you guys hanging, say, hey, I'm pregnant, peace out. So definitely you guys can look forward to videos during that time as well. 27, what have I bought for future baby? I haven't bought much. The only things that I bought were, I have a changing table, and that was because I found it at a flea market, and it was the exact kind of wood color that I wanted, and it was only $40, and they drove it to my house, and it was in great condition. I already have a dresser in that room that I want, because it's the same kind of wood. Other than that, I'm not actually that's the only thing I've purchased. I did a bartering with a friend who wanted a bike for her daughter, and I was getting rid of a bike, and she gave me a stroller, a diaper genie, a breast pump system, and like a storage thing. So I have those few things all in the room that will eventually be the kids. Number 28. Do I have a birth plan? Not really, but I have some ideas. I plan to get the drugs. I already know that from some of these fertility tests that have been painful, that I don't want to experience. I want to experience as little pain as possible. And my mom had even suggested that as well, because she pointed out, since I'm doing this by myself, you know, try to get the medicine so that I don't have to be, I mean, I know I'll be exhausted after labor anyway, but like kind of like save myself. So I would like the drugs. I like the idea of delayed cord clamping, and I like the idea of skin to skin, but whatever we have to do to get the baby out healthy, safely. But first, whatever we have to do to get the baby in, right? I'm still trying to conceive. And then the last question is, who would I like to do this tag? So anybody is free to do it. If you're not a single mom by choice, or planning to be, just adjust your questions. But I am going to tag 3 other single mother by choice YouTubers, and that is Single Mother by Choice, all like one word, Choice Mom's Diary, and The Choice of Motherhood. I would love to see you guys answer all these questions, and keep the tag going. So hope that you guys like this video, and I look forward to giving you a more routine update soon with the ERA test results. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.